when she asked me what I was going to speak about, I said, "What do you want me to speak about?" And she said, "I don't know, whatever you want to speak about." And then my sweet little employee, Courtney, about an hour and a half ago, she said, "What are you going to speak about?" And I said, "I don't know, we'll figure it out when we're there." That's how it is. But isn't that a little bit how life is? Is there a plan? Or does everything just come up right in front of you and you've got to make the decision in that moment? Is that moment the moment to decide? Are those horses, when they're about to fall off the mountain, is that the time to take the training? Or is it every single day until that moment? So many of us see heroes. We see those people in the World War II photos. We see the gurus who sit on mountaintops. We see the bodybuilders. We see the yoga bodies, right? We see the prophets. We see the speakers. And we think to myself, I think to myself, I want to be like them. Everybody wants to walk on water. Do you want to fast for 40 days? Because in order to walk on water, you must day upon day, precept upon precept, walk, step, practice. You must do the right thing at the right time, at the right way, to the right person, day upon day. When it's returning the pen to the bank, or when it's rushing to save a child in front of a car. Because day upon day, step upon step, if you are not doing phronesis, when the big stuff comes, you are not ready. You are not ready. When he sits here and talks about wild mustangs, I can't help but remember when I was a freelance photographer. That seems like another lifetime ago, many years ago. Part of that work, which was really fun for me, is we actually traveled out to the wild mustangs in their habitat. So we would wake up before dawn in the middle of the night, and we would get out there, my friend Wade and I, with our cameras, and we would travel hours, and we would watch the sunrise coming up. And just like Hugh said, the mustangs stay out on the hilltops. They stay out where they can see everything coming, and then they run. And so we would go. And we would park hundreds of yards away, looking with binoculars, and we would know that once we spotted them, we then had to get out of the car, packing our camera gear, and just like leopards in the jungle, we would crawl across the prairie. And there would be these small little ridges, and we would be in the grass, and it would be cold, and we would climb, and we would crawl. Now, the first time I was out there, I had never done it, and Wade gave me the 101 on this is what you got to do, and these are dangerous animals, and we're probably not going to get that close. And so we're traveling out there, and he's like, don't be let down. That was his coaching. Hey, we're going to do this really cool thing. Don't be let down. We might not find anything today, and if we find anything, we might not get close. And I said, okay. Now, if any of you have seen National Geographic or any documentaries, have you seen those photo lenses that are as long as your arm and they're white? Has anybody seen those? Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. I don't have one. Wade has one. I don't have one. So we got out to this Mustang herd after hours of searching, and they're off in the distance, and we crawled through the dirt and the muck and the grime. And he said, I'm going to go over here with his awesome lens, and I'm going to go over here with my kind of awesome lens that can't shoot that far. But he said, don't stay close to each other because you never know which way they're going to go. And also because we are predators, if we're both together, they'll assume that we're coming for them. I said, okay. So we ended up angling on either side, about 100 yards away. And I gave up because my camera couldn't do it. I was taking the shots, and here's what I really thought. I was raised on John Wayne, so I was sure that I knew all the horsemanship that I needed to know. Now, I was raised in a cookie-cutter house on a 1/4 acre, and I had a garden. I was raised with 6 kids in my house. I was sure that John Wayne taught me everything I needed to know about wild mustangs. I was wrong. But the shots I could get were like tiny little mice out in the distance. You couldn't even tell they were horses. And in that moment, I was disappointed. I sat down and I surrendered. And I hoped Wade was getting the shots he came to get. He had the gear. He was prepared. I hoped he had them. And I thought to myself, in this moment, what I can do is I can sit here in the rising sun, and I can be so grateful that at this moment I am experiencing something, even at this distance, that no one else does. Very few people get this close to wild mustangs. Very few can see an animal in the wild like this. And I embodied peace, and I embodied gratitude. And I don't know how long I sat there. And I had my camera down in my lap, and I had given up. I was just there to experience the beauty of this moment. And I must have lost track, because when you watch the mustangs, they're very fascinating. They are not calm. You saw them in that corral, the square pen. Watching a mustang herd with about 40 or 50 wild mustangs is like whack-a-mole. You have young mustangs always vying for power, and you have old mustangs always letting them know they don't have it. You have mothers watching over their foals. You have territory. You have fighting over women. You have this going on all the time. And so you see them jumping up and fighting and clawing, and you see blood, and you see open wounds all the time. You see scars. That is the norm of this. And then you see them sitting here peacefully eating, and then they're popping up and fighting, and then they're back down. And this is what's going on, and it's fascinating to watch. And as I'm watching this, I'm thinking, this is so amazing. This is so amazing. And I'm watching this, and I'm realizing that they're kind of close. And I think I should get my camera. They're actually really close. But when I say they're close, it dawns on me that they're as close to me as Shelley is. And I realize, don't move. Don't reach for your camera. Wade is now 100 yards out. I think he peed his pants. He is scared to death. This is the first time he's taken me out. He feels somewhat responsible, and he's pretty sure in this day I'm dying. I'm sitting there in the middle of a herd of wild animals. A wild mustang is like a thunderstorm in a very small container. And this small container outweighs you by 10 or 20 times. That is the power of a wild mustang. And as I'm sitting there, I realize they are behind me, they are on every single side of me, and they're in front of me. And a black mustang with wicked hair comes behind me. I don't even look, I know who it is. And as it comes behind me, I feel its breath on the back of my neck. My hair's up in a bun. I can feel the spittle from its nostrils on the back of my neck. And it's going, poof, 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 and it's hitting the ground. And it's like, look, bitch, you're not supposed to be here. Okay, that's what it was saying to me. I'm sorry, Tucker. Yeah. I speak hoarse. And I didn't want to lie. It's speak your truth. See? Hugh knows, because he speaks hoarse too. So this is what I can do, because what power does this little girl have? You know, John Wayne, nothing, okay? This is what I had. The awareness that this animal does not speak my language. This animal does not think that I am one of them. But the great spirit, the great creator, the life force that exists in every single one of us is no different between that and I. I am a Munaki shaman. Shamanism means a lot of different things. People have a lot of different ideas about what shamanism is, but shamanism is the language of knowing that we are all connected and practicing ways to remember that. And I sat there, and this is what I did, true story. I love you, you love me. I love you, you love me. That's it. And it kept there. And I felt like it was 4 days. It was probably a little less, but it was there. And I knew that because it spoke frequency, frequency. It did not speak my language, it spoke frequency. Shelley spoke about it a little bit. That if I succumbed to fear, it would reflect back to me that fear. But if I succumb to this is peace and love, and we are one, and I bear you no ill will, and you bear me none, it would let me go. And I stayed there. And eventually it stopped breathing down my neck. And I didn't know where it was, but I could see Wade in the distance, and I saw him like this. So I was sure we were done. So this is what I did. I stood and I walked about 50 yards out from the center of a wild Mustang herd to my friend Wade. And I got no shots. None. Wade has one with his lens. It's on my Facebook page somewhere with his logo across it, with the horse behind me and me on the ground like this. Oh no. I agree with you. Everything will reflect back to you. We don't think of it because we don't think it. It's everything. It's not just the horses. What a beautiful thing the horse is. When your kids aren't listening to you, they don't listen to me, they don't listen to me, they don't listen to me. Guess who's not listening? Me. No. Me. Me. Am I listening to them? Because my children, when they feel listened to, will listen to me. When I ask them, who are you? What are you about? What is going on with you? Tell me about school. Tell me about what you like. Tell me about the shows. Tell me about what you did today. Tell me everything about you. Then they listen to me. When he talks about the 6, whatever those were, in shamanism we teach of 5, but it's very similar. 5 pillars of life. Spirit and life purpose. Family, relationships, health and wellness, growth. That would be education, expansion. It might not look like a college degree, but it is expansion. As I've traveled and as I've spoken, I feel like my greatest purpose is to assist us all to remember that we are so much more than we appear to be. And this suit that I wear, this body called Katie Jo, which is a name that's been given to me by other people who wear these suits, is just clothing. I am indefinable, as are you. If it works for you to call me Katie Jo, I answer to that. Because that's how I've learned to be identified here. Just like you've maybe been called Jan or Junior or Courtney. But never deceive yourself to know that that's who you are. That is just a word. That is just a word. We go through these lives and we start to compartmentalize, right? First one is, what's my gender? I'm a woman. What's my career? What's my education? What's my relationship? I'm a wife or I'm not a wife. I'm this career, I'm not. I have this education, I'm not. All of these things. And we begin to put these badges on thinking that it gives us some inherent value. Look, I totally mess up his mic when I do that. And none of those badges can ever describe who you truly are. Because you're indefinable. The truth is that this is about all of us, every single one of us. And when Hugh comes here, or you come here, or any of you sign up to be speakers, furthermore, with the Intuition Academy, as you contribute, as you become mentors, and you share your truth, we change everything. Because we live in a world of masks and facades. We live in a world where, just like Shelley's beautiful daughter goes to this school, just like many of us do, even in our work or even in this outside world, where we live in no reality called reality. I am a soul, and as that soul, I have deep emotions like the ocean, not unlike you. I feel love, and I feel anguish, and I feel power, and I feel terror, and I feel fear. And then I cover it up with these masks and these badges, and I am something because I've learned something, or call me this or call me that, and now I'm of value, and I'm going to pretend, and I'm going to go through this, but everything I'm feeling inside is so real. But I will go into this world of social media. I will go into these photoshopped silicone bodies on magazine covers, and I will pretend that I'm part of that. And this is what we're seeing with our youth, with all of us. Utah's suicide rates for teens are the highest in the nation. Utah's pharmaceutical abuse is the highest in the nation. We win. Utah's sexual assault statistics are the highest in the nation. We win. In a society where we pretend to be perfect, Hugh says be excellent. And I was so glad he said be excellent, because I was afraid he was going to say be perfect. And there is no such thing. Be excellent. Excellence means I fall on my face and I stand back up. Excellent means I make a mistake and I correct it. Excellent means that my intention is pure even if I did it the wrong way and I did something that created chaos, but I'm humble enough to go back and repair it and be accountable. Excellence is that. Excellence is going on 5-mile runs, hiking the mountain, and being a fitness trainer and not eating carbs. Excellence is also eating the cheesecake for dinner and getting back on board tomorrow. Excellence, excellence, excellence. Be excellent. The most uncontrollable being on the planet, I propose, is not a wild Mustang. I propose the most uncontrollable, raw, natural energy on the planet is a baby. Here's my proof. You can't train it.
I don't know, we'll give it a try. What if you lay down and didn't work?
And when you put it in a pen, they put you in jail. You can't do that with babies. You have to actually take care of them. I remember looking at my first child, my daughter. I was very young. I had just turned 20. I looked at this being. This being was this big. This big. I remember looking at her. It was maybe a few days old. A few days past. It was a girl. She was. And at this very young age, I looked at that and I thought to myself, you can fit in my bread box. That's what I thought. And you rule my entire universe. That was my thought. She dictated whether I ate, whether I slept, where I went, what I was wearing. She never cared what I was wearing if she wanted to poop. Don't care. She's going to poop where she wants to poop. She's going to cry when she wants to cry. She's going to eat when she wants to eat. And they have no consciousness of anything beyond that. This is me. This is the most pure, unencumbered energy on our planet. And they come here straight from the realm of light and light only. And if any of you have been in the room when a baby enters this world, you have recognized the power of light that comes through that portal. You can feel it, and there's nothing like that frequency. It is the most pure, holy frequency, is an innocent, unencumbered by this world being. When you hold a baby, and I challenge you all to begin to look around you and witness the children in your lives. They look around. They see the beings that you and I do not see. They see the realms we do not see. They are not looking over here because they don't have brain function. They are looking over there because we, the idiots, do not see what they see. And they are the galaxy, this entire galaxy of light and knowledge and mysteries of the universe put into a pile of dirt, mud and muck. That is the human body. And they have to figure out how to move it how to feed it, how to walk it, how to crawl it, how to communicate with it. And over the next 2 or 3 years, what happens with these beautiful beings that we all were and are is they begin to focus away from this realm and onto purely the physical realm. We begin to learn to crawl and walk and talk with our mouth and not with our mind anymore. We begin to not speak frequency anymore. We have these beautiful little 3-year-olds, and 3 is the main age where people begin, where that age is they begin to realize how big the world is. And when they begin to realize how big the world is and how small that they are, that's usually when the nightmares begin. It's their fear. And when we talk about our fear and our lives and our frequency reflecting back to us, that fear allows them to see things that we don't see. When your children are telling you there's monsters under their bed, I'm not here to scare you, there are. And I'll tell you what disempowers a child to say, no, there's not. What if you, a being of pure light and love and truth, says there's something weird with this person, and their parents say, no, there's not. Have good manners. There's something weird over here, I don't feel good about this. No, have good manners. That's not there. How crazy do you feel? And do you begin to shut down your spiritual gifts? Of course you do. But they can only be buried because you can only shut things in the closet. You can't keep them there. And I see teens right now, as I've worked with many teens, and I see them coming in, these pure, sensitive souls, holding this light. And the souls coming to this planet right now are stronger than any souls that have come before. Many of them are old souls. So I want you to think about the children in your lives, and I want you to think about your grandchildren in your lives and the beauty that they are. These are our strongest souls. And they have chosen to come to earth at this time because in this day and age, unless we begin to practice oneness with all, oneness with land, oneness with all the world, we don't have more generations. We are contaminating and destroying our host. That's what we are doing. That is what humanity is doing. We are obliterating each other and our land. These souls knew this, see this, and they come here to change it. They know that they are our last hope. We have no right to tell them the way it is. We have no right to tell them that what they're experiencing is not real. We have no right to squelch the beauty that they truly are. We have no right to tell them they're anything but absolutely magnificent. And when we have the opportunity to sit at their feet and listen, take it. They know more than us. We are not owners of them. He talks about control, heavy hands with your kids. I know people like that. I'm a different kind of mother now than I was in the beginning. Much different. Life happens. The prophet Carlisle said, children do not belong to us. They are gifts given to the world through us. In many Native American cultures, in many shamanic practices, in many tribes, there is clear awareness that these children are not ours. They belong to Creator. They were never ours. Many of them have ceremonies at the age of like 10 or 12 or 14 for a young girl, usually when she starts her menses, for a young boy when he does his vision quest. But they do a ceremony honoring that I, as a mother, was given the opportunity to stand as steward over this childhood. I was given the gift to care for them in their childhood, but I am not their mother. They belong to Creator. The true parents are here. And I can serve as a guide, and I can serve as someone who loves them, and I can serve as a server They are not mine, and I do not own them. And I can seek to hold my banner. I can seek to hold my light and hold it high, but not that they have to follow it. I hold my light for me. My purpose is to teach my children how to hold their own light. They must learn to think for themselves. They must learn to emanate light, not stand in my shadow. That is the way of the new generation. Oh, keep doing that. What they have, you have. In my teachings, in my classes, in the things that I do, in the drum circles, in everything that we do, it comes to the drum. And anciently we learned that the drum represents the heart. Every culture on the planet drums. Every people drums. When I have traveled and had the opportunity to travel across the oceans and share this story to people across the world, I say the same thing. In the beginning, we were one circle and one tribe. We were not many. We were not many people. We were one people, one circle, one tribe. And in our circle, there is no beginning and there is no end. And I don't care what your education or your bank account is, we are equal here. Your past is not here with you, and neither is your future. Every voice, every heart matters. There is no above, there is no below. And in our circle, as the drum beats, every one of us matters. And the pathway to light is the pathway to the heart. The pathway to the heart is the portal to heaven. It is the intuition. That silence, that holding still, that being at peace amongst the chaos. Just like Dorothy and her red slippers is here inside of you. It's not magic, it's not weird. It's the awareness that inside your DNA, inside each and every single one of your genetics, is a history of people that drummed. And in the drum, they remembered that the heart and softening of the heart was what would save us in the last days. Yes, just like cords and ropes of life and trials and hardships and lies and betrayal, they begin to tie around us in energetic cords, and we begin to bury that heart. But that heart is the intuition. That heart will lead you. We're not all here to take the same path, but we are here all to reach the pinnacle of the mountain. You walk your path. I will walk my path. Hold the light. Find the journey here. Allow the journey in others. And remember, everything comes here. Why the drums? Is it the drums? No. It's the metaphor that this is the way. When we rise from the heart, when we rise with the true power, which is love, compassion, and we no longer sit silent. Too long, for too many generations, good people have sat silent because we didn't want to fight. The drum teaches us you don't need to fight, but you do need to be willing to be heard.